Good afternoon, all. Paul from CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, May 2nd. We're looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and NQ. So, an excellent day and week for the bulls. ES up $24 last week, up $16 again this week. NQ putting the monthly back to balance, the weekly up and the daily up. ES has not done that yet, neither has Righty. We do end up pretty much with P-shapes, some more short covering. The higher we go, the more weeklies we'll put on the water. And if we start taking out these monthly highs, you'll put some of those shorts on the water. Righty goes out. They held the trend day today. So they hold the trend day and their gap higher. ES and NQ had a small gap in ES, no gap in NQ. ES filled theirs right away and failed to hold trend. 3 times we tried to go up trend in ES and NQ. None of them held. That was the only bad thing or thing that they couldn't accomplish. Other than that, they did well. Again, the volume's not good. The ranges are decent. We need fresh blood up here to keep this going. The other thing is, this is a huge area, this 57.39 a quarter level. That is, without a doubt, your hump level going into next week, because that would put the monthly into balance and the weekly up for me if we're able to get that. So today they defended it, the Bears. Today started off really rocky for me. In A period, I thought we were going to get yesterday's high and then go for that overnight high. Well, I took the long, I added on the way back, and the next thing I knew, I was down about $4,100. However, between the rest of A period and then B taking out A's high, I did lose on another one trying to get the overnight high, but I ended up by D period, because I was long in C against single prints. And then in D, I actually took a short thinking we wouldn't get another set of single prints when we filled B's and C's. And by the end of D period, so less than 2 hours, I went from down 4,100 to up about 250 in my personal account. Very, very happy with that. And I shut it down. Had a good week. So, again, I don't generally try to get a loss of that magnitude back in a day, or even sometimes 2 or 3 days, let alone get it back in 2 hours. But I really thought the MGI was favoring the bulls with the value, the indices, everything of that nature, that I really felt that we were going to take A's high out and the IB high out and the overnight high out. So I kept on pullbacks even after that big loss, capturing those longs on 5 lots basically. Definitely playing bigger than I would usually, and got it all back. In the afternoon, I didn't do much. I had a good trade in G period. I was long against the single prints, did well. Again in H period, and then again when the single prints filled in H period, I had a good long. That was it. We were talking in the room, I had somebody on the mic with me. Again, I'm not blaming anything for not taking trades. There were definitely, especially K period, had some very, very good visual trade. The first one, and it was before it happened, like always, we talk about it before it happens. I said, if we make new highs, I think they're fadeable because we have failed to hold trend 3 times in ES and twice in NQ. Well, they would have worked if you shorted K's high. And then when K pulled back, it initially held what was going to be our afternoon pullback in H, which would have been a nice long. So those are 2 trades I definitely missed in K. And then we finally did take out the afternoon pullback in L. So all we have for today are the day's highs and lows, okay? Now, we do have an 8-wide POC, which I won't ignore on Monday, but I won't carry it forward after that if we don't trade at it on Monday, okay? So from the way it started, turned out to be a good day. and a good week. Again, it's a P shape. I get it. But the bulls, look, even though P shapes and short covering could eventually make the market weaker, what you hope for is to bring in new money to start fueling a further run. Now, that hasn't happened yet. But you also hope to put in some decent structure where if it does pull back, it could rely on it on a pullback if we do shake out some weak longs. So, again, we have emotional trading. We're still holding the gaps from the other day. Remember, the overnight did not take it back. You talk about just overnight and emotional trading. What they do with this market is mind-numbing at times. So now what I'd like to do is go to the charts and break down everything for the week and what we're looking like going forward. So here's IWM. IWM had a great finish to the month last month, but it has not taken out April's high yet. So they're still down, okay? Heading in the right direction to try to put it in balance, but until they do, they're still down, right? Or unless we have an inside month, that would at least slow. It wouldn't stop the one-time framing down, but it would at least slow it. But for now, it's down. The weekly, again, yes, we had an outside week up, which, by the way, ended up paying for all three of us pretty nicely between yesterday and today. Pretty nicely, right? But I'm still calling it balance because I want to see us take out this high, okay, which would also put the monthly back to balance in IWM. So for now, they're down on the monthly, balance on the weekly, and up on the daily. And you can say their gap is your main focus right now. And they closed above the 50-day moving average. NQ and triple Qs, the monthly is now balanced. They took it out. So not only did they have, look at that candle. Very impressive. And now they're back to balance. How big is the balance? We don't know yet. Markets don't go bare bull. So even if this ripped all the way up, to me it would still be balanced. And then whatever, if we took out the all-time high, we would call that the balance high then, after this month. So we don't know. Is it, right now I would call it a 3-month balance. Most likely, right? Some people might call it a 2-month balance. That's fine. But regardless, it's only May 3rd, or May 2nd, I'm sorry. So it's balance on the monthly. The weekly is up though. We took out that weekly high that I wanted to see. Now their next target is this weekly high from March 24th. But for now, they're up because that was my weekly balance high. Some people might even still call it balance until they take out this weekly high. But for me, once they put the monthly back to balance and got that weekly high, to me, that put them up on the weekly. That's why I'm waiting for ES and Ryder to do that. And the daily is obviously up. Oh, I did not notice that today. So we traded at the 200-day moving average, which is at 491. Well, we got close to it, very close to it. It says 491.03, but our high is 490.91, which is $1 away. It certainly doesn't look like $1 away on that chart. But regardless, they're the first ones now trying to backtest the 200-day moving average. So the daily is up. And then on the S&P, again, the monthly is down, but it's a very nice finish from last month. And we would like to take out last month's high sooner rather than later to quickly come back to balance. The weekly is still balanced. Like I said, I want this weekly high taken out. We're banging on the door. Actually, you know what? Okay, SPY did take it out. SPY took out that weekly high by $1. But even though I look at SPY's charts, I'm still going to say we can call SPY up, absolutely. But I would call ES still balance, okay? You can call SPY up, but I'd call ES balance. I forgot that SPY took out that weekly high. And then the daily is up. Now, again, I said this morning, there was somebody put out that this is the first time since 1981 we had 8 days up in a row below the 200-day moving average. Well, today's day 9. So I don't know if that's still in 1981 or goes back even further. But that is 9 days now that the S&P, the SPX is up below the 200. But we're trying to get closer to it. Again, that's going to be the huge hurdle off this yearly low. Right? As much good as they've done so far with that awesome finish to last month's candle, to NQ taking out the monthly high and being up on the weekly and getting right up to the 200. Again, we need what? Acceptance above the 200. This was an acceptance after we got below it, right? We got below it, tried to get above it. Boy, oh boy. Remember we say one day doesn't make a market? Look what happened that day. We went from 576 to 481. We went down $95 from this high. Want to know why one day doesn't make a market, or 2 days, or 3, right? Look at that. But we're trying to come back. But as positive as it all is, this is a huge level and a huge hurdle at some point that they're going to have to get over. But let's take baby steps. First things first, let's take out last month's high. Now, SPY must have then, right? Yes. So SPY did. So SPY is balance on the monthly and up on the weekly. But ES is not to this point yet. They're down on the monthly, balance on the weekly. I would think eventually they should follow suit. They are the lead dog. So I would think they will. And then again, once that occurs, the big hurdle will be what? The 200-day moving average. Hope you had a great day and a great week trading. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to this channel. Stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.